17th of the 7th, 25. It's been about 10 days since I've done an entry, and I was going to do one about 3 a.m. this morning, but I didn't quite get there. But, I'm sitting here with my little puppies. She's here, Charlotte, and her 4 little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stay there, doll. Stay there. I sat with her the other day so that she had company while feeding, and now she wants me here all the time while she's feeding, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I've had a fair bit happen the last 10 days or so. Nothing outrageous, but just a few things happening for me. And again, me and the shows or movies, series that I used to sit down. Get back down, you're squashing them, darling. I watched a really, really good one, Raising Voices, it's called, about a teacher that rapes the students, and how one girl that stood up made a difference, and several of the girls that had been affected by this particular teacher, they portrayed their characters really, really well, as in losing that state of mind and the way they felt, shouting and screaming sort of inanimate words that just sometimes just didn't make sense. It made sense to the girls, but it didn't make sense to the actual people that were listening. Hop down. I kind of ended up crying at the end of it because it just felt so sad. I know for myself, I have shared very briefly, I am a survivor of sexual abuse. I don't think it's appropriate to go deep into that in this format. I just don't think it is, or maybe I'm just not ready, I don't know, but I was very, very young, put it that way. I've probably already shared, but I can't remember everything I've spoken about here on the podcast, so, and I don't expect to remember, and part of my frontal lobe damage is anyway that I don't remember very well. My children are very much aware of my ability to remember, forever forgetting everything, glasses, keys, shoes, you name it. But anyway, I'll come back to what I was talking about. One of the girls ended up walking in front of a car, bus, whatever it be, and it was something in the movie or the series I didn't see it coming, and it shocked the shit out of me, I've got to say. But it was so moment appropriate. I really, truly believe, unless you've had that experience, please don't give what I call fake sympathy, because it really shows. It truly, truly shows if someone hasn't had that particular experience. It's a bit like being a mum. You know, you can't say you know what it feels like to be a mum, yet not have any kids. You can, dearly love your nieces and nephews or neighbours' kids, etc., your best friend's kids, but there's just a different feeling altogether, a different emotional connection. However, coming back to the to the sexual abuse. One of her friends, when she first seen it happen to the young lady that walked in front of the traffic, it was the usual, I'm not making a blanket statement by no means, but she didn't say anything. She didn't tell anybody. She didn't ever say anything to the girl. And the girl herself knew that she was around the corner, and she eventually said to her, you knew that it was happening. You knew, because this particular teacher had gone from wanting to tutor her to literally forcing, well, not literally, but forcing himself on her. I mean, please don't get me wrong, there's no one particular way of sexual abuse. It can come in many, many forms. I would probably be here till next year trying to explain all the different ones. But yeah, there seemed, with each diverse character that was coming along, it was just the same pattern that kept going. And if anything, it kind of took me back to me, as I've already shared. And I remember the very first time I tried to reach out and say something, actually the very first time it happened. And I remember telling my mum, and she looked at me, and I know what I was four, and my grandfather put me in his car and drove me down to the back paddock and parked in amongst the cows. Now, at the age of 4, the cows looked like dinosaurs, huge. I'm not prepared to share anything more. I can feel my stomach already turning, and it's like I want to cry at this point. It's like I want to hide myself in shame at this point. But also it's not appropriate for me to go word verbatim regarding detail here. It's just not. However, when I got back to the homestead, because we were up at the farm, my grandparents' place, when we got back to the homestead of the house, my mum was cooking, and I took my soiled clothing to my mum and just held it up to her and said, look, this is what Pa just did. I don't know if her, I'm not going to call it an action, a reaction, was something to do with her own life experiences. I mean, how many people that come off the land are scared of cows too? Not many. And my mum was petrified of cows, as I still am petrified of cows. Yes, depending on how big they are, but still, I'm still petrified of cows. My mum grabbed them, threw them in the fire, so she was cooking on the combustion stove, and ended up calling me a slut. I'm 4 years old, and she's calling me a slut. I don't get that. Now, I share often, there's a lot